Hey! Hey everyone, Andrew here, bringing you another video review, and today we're going to be doing Batman Dark Detective. Take a look at this comic cover right here. Now, Batman Dark Detective is the sequel to Batman Strange Apparitions. Strange Apparitions was a collection of Batman stories written during the 1970s. And they were stories that really helped define Batman for our modern age. They were classic stories that were just absolutely fun and absolutely great. Now, because of the success of Strange Apparitions, the creative team that made those stories joined back up in around 2005 and made its sequel, Batman Dark Detective. So the question is this: does Dark Detective live up to the splendor that was Strange Apparitions, or does it fall short and fail epically? Well, I'm going to let you know in this review. Dark Detective starts off with Batman going to a political party, a campaign party for this dude called Evan. And right away we're given the two key plot points to this story. The first is the Joker shows up, and the Joker is now running for mayor. And the Joker says, "Vote for me or die." Plain, flat, and simple. If you don't vote for me, you die. And he starts pointing out people that he's going to kill if they don't vote for him or give him campaign money or stuff of, along that line. The second key point is, well, Silver St. Cloud is back. And you're probably saying, well, who's she? Well, she was introduced in the Batman Strange Apparition stories, and she was a love interest for Bruce Wayne. However, things didn't quite work out because she found out that he was Batman. She didn't want part of that life. However, some time has passed. So, her and Bruce start to kind of get things going again, yeah, if you know what I'm talking about, and their relationship reignites. While this is happening, Batman needs to find the Joker and stop him from killing people because, well, that's just a bad thing. At the same time, he also has to deal with Two-Face and Scarecrow. Two-Face is just as loopy as ever, and he actually gets a clone of himself so that he can kind of relive his glorious days as district attorney. In addition to that, Scarecrow is trying to release fear toxins throughout Batman's costume to cause him to go insane. With Two-Face and Scarecrow pushing at Batman from all angles, and the Joker attacking him from the front, what's going to happen? Is Batman going to survive through this? And, most importantly, will his relationship with Silver St. Cloud survive? Well, I'll allow you to read so that you know what the ending is. I don't want to spoil too much for you. So let's just go into the good, the bad, and whether or not you should get it. Well, good. I'm glad that the creative team came back together to write this story. It was a solid story, and what's interesting enough is Strange Apparitions was a collection of small stories that just had connections to each other. This was a total story arc. The story arc had a very classic Batman feel to it. I liked their interpretation of the Joker. I thought the Joker was very nice, although at the same time I felt the Joker was very safe. They didn't really do anything outgoing with the Joker, but it did feel like classic Joker. I did like their interpretation of Scarecrow, and Two-Face was handled nicely too. I like how Two-Face has that dual identity, and how he's kind of a reluctant villain, where, doing crimes is a release for him. It's not a pleasure, it's a release. So I do enjoy their interpretations of the villains. I also enjoy their interpretation of Batman, where they make Batman and Bruce Wayne both likable characters. They also write the relationship with Silver St. Cloud and Batman very nicely. When Strange Apparitions was out, I said, well, this is probably just a fling between these two. But you really get to see that there's general love for each other here, and it's definitely one of the better Batman romances. So that is written very nicely too. And on the whole, the story was good. I also like how they throw in a lot of Silver Age kind of elements in this, like Batman showing the Batcave to Silver, and they have the trophy room with a lot of people try to kind of forget the trophy room in the more recent Batman comics. I mean, sure, the card of Joker will be hanging up, or there'll be a penny of the T-Rex, but really, I mean, Batman shows in detail all the trophies, which is nice. I like that little throwback to the Silver Age. There's a lot of references made to many classic Batman adventures, whether they're obvious references or if they're subtle references too. And I felt as though the story was paced nicely, and it was also had a satisfying ending, because it was an ending that was kind of necessary. It's this ending that I could see totally possible with Batman. Bad. Well, the art wasn't necessarily the best art. It wasn't bad at all. Actually, there was a few parts that I did like the art. Just mostly, I didn't like how Batman was drawn. And Joker. Joker could have been drawn a little bit better. Certain characters look nice, like when he was Bruce Wayne looked good, or Silver looked stunning in this, but I mean, certain characters didn't quite match up as well. And seeing that this was done in 2005, I figured they have a little bit more of a modernized kind of artistic style with the colors, rather than have that old 90s, 80s color style. When you read it, you'll know what I'm talking about. So the art is a little, the other problem is, it's difficult to really place this exactly where it's in continuity. Because this is in continuity, but exactly where it belongs is tough to say. Now, I am going to tell you where I believe this belongs. I believe this belongs right after Strange Apparitions. This is before Batman goes into a slum and darkness about being depressed. So, obviously, you know, he's in good spirits, and it's before Jason Todd comes into the picture and dies. So, we can automatically place it before Batman 10 Nights of the Beast, which is the first trade that has Jason Todd in it. In addition to that, well, if you go by my timeline that I've been showing you, Strange Apparitions comes right before 10 Nights of the Beast. So this should fit snugly in between. Now, if you don't agree where I place this in the timeline, that's totally fine, because this is really open to a lot of places. However, one thing that you can say about this is that it is before No Man's Land, because we have the old Batcave. So you can guarantee that, and it's before Bane, and probably before Tim Drake. This is definitely around where Dick Grayson was still Robin. This takes place maybe a year or two after Strange Apparitions. I mean, even references made to Dick Grayson being Robin subtly. For example, Batman makes reference about all the villains that he's captured. He said, well, I did it with Robin. So it couldn't have been with Jason Todd or Tim Drake. And if he said that he did it with Dick Grayson, he would have said, well, I did it with Dick. Or I did it with Nightwing. He said Robin specifically. I know that's such a subtle thing, and it probably doesn't mean much, but it does help people that care about timeline placement. So I would put this right next to its predecessor, Strange Apparitions, and before 10 Nights of the Beast. On the whole, whether or not you should get it. Well, I've been getting kind of mixed feelings from this with a lot of people. A lot of people said this is either good or this is bad. Where it does not necessarily live up to the splendor of Strange Apparitions, Strange Apparitions was just an absolutely fantastic set of stories. Even though this doesn't live up to it, it's still a good Batman story. It's a fairly worthy sequel. It feels as though a lot of elements are taken from Strange Apparitions and put in this, so it feels like a sequel, while at the same time standing on its own as its own story and not having to use its Strange Apparitions as a crutch. It's a good Batman story. Is it necessary, though? If you get Strange Apparitions and you're really interested to see what happens to Silver St. Cloud and Batman, you can get this, but besides that, it's not something essential. If you have a little extra money on hand, you can pick it up. It's no loss if you pick it up. It's only $14, so you're not going to be paying that much money, but on a whole, it's a good story. Not in the Hall of Fame, fantastic, blow your mind away stories, but it's a worthy sequel. It stands alone on its own, but it is still a sequel, and it's enjoyable. So, Batman Dark Detective, I recommend picking up, especially if you want some Two-Face, Joker, and Scarecrow stories, because those are the three villains featured in this. So, anyways, that said, Dark Detective, pick it up if you like to. If not, it's cool, but it's still a fun story. This is Andrew saying peace out for now.